Today I'm gonna show you why I made this plugin and why I need you to tell me if it's really cool or useless. So the question that made me think that there's something wrong with compressors was, what do you put in a processing chain first? Compressor or de-esser? And my final answer to this question is, you don't need a de-esser. Here's why. I'm gonna show you a couple of actually cool uses for de-essers later, but if you do want to use a de-esser, you should put it after, because compressors make those bright sounds too loud. Why? So if we take some well-mixed track and check its spectrum, it should be flat and balanced. But when you look at its waveform, you can see that the bass kinda looks like it's louder than everything. And the other way around, if you look at this sine wave sweep, its loudness is constant on the waveform, but on the spectrum it's not. And that's because spectrum analyzers usually display loudness with 4.5 decibel per octave tilt, while the waveform is 3 decibel per octave. So waveforms are kinda wrong. We calibrate spectrum analyzers to 4.5 decibels per octave because that's what we usually perceive as balanced. Why waveforms matter? Because that's what all compressors use to detect signal loudness. Fold a waveform like this, apply threshold, smooth with attack and release, and you got yourself a compressor. So this means all compressors that work like this are too sensitive to low frequencies and not sensitive enough to high frequencies. Which is, I think, why some compressors have those sidechain high-pass settings, and basically why de-essers were invented. Because de-essers are basically compressors with sidechain that makes them sensitive to high frequencies. So that means to fix compressors, we basically need to tilt the input signal and put it into compressor's sidechain. And well, that's what I did. So this is basically a sensitivity curve. By default, it's set to those 4.5 decibels per octave. You can make it more sensitive to high frequencies, or, well, this is how other compressors work. But not only that, there are also some of those standards for measuring loudness, including the one that LUFS is using. So you can also experiment with that. I mostly add them for fun, I don't know how useful they will be. But that's not the only problem this compressor solves. I have never seen a good, easy to use, zero latency, multi-band compressor. They all either don't sound good, or they have too many knobs, or they are spectral, which means they are not zero latency, or they are simply not multi-band. But this compressor can be multi-band, and it is real time. Now, why I'm not sure if this plugin is cool or useless? I mean, first off, I feel like trying to make some new sound is not what people want, because everyone is chasing after vintage, warm, tube, retro, analog, but it's mostly that if someone is making some modern sound, if you're talking about vocals, they always make him the brightest thing imaginable, which is kind of the opposite from what this balanced compressor is doing. Anyway, you can get this plugin here and try it out for yourself. I would love to make this plugin not free because I'm pro and I think this plugin is pretty unique, but this video will most likely get 0 views because actually, you should use a de-esser if your compressor is set to slow attack, but I don't know. I personally feel like slow attack almost never sounds good. The thing that de-essers do, not perfectly but pretty well, is detecting non-tonal sounds. So what might be interesting is splitting vocals like this, so that this chain has only tonal sounds, this one is only sibilants. And now you can apply any effects you want on them separately. So maybe EQing sibilants separately, or maybe
format shifting the main vocal without the sibilants.
I don't know.